What is going on, everybody? This is Snow from Mercs.com coming to you guys with some pretty big and important updates. While I discuss these updates, I'm going to be doing some official bot busting in 2007 scape in the background for your enjoyment. So let's get to it. In the coming day/week/month, there's going to be quite a few updates coming into Mercs, as well as some behind-the-scenes changes and updates. Lately, Mercs has just been taking like blow after blow, starting initially when Jagex decided to, step up their EOC bot busting game. A bit of history of me and the Mercs VIP is I used to basically day trade on RuneScape for like 5-6 hours a day, and I'd pull in about 300 mil a day. And I did this using multiple accounts, just kind of flipping away in short-term investing. But then Jagex did away with the whole limit boosting thing, and that pretty much ended it. After that, my profits were more like 20 to 30 mil an hour max, and it was like really tedious, right? Because you had to keep changing up your items. So I stopped doing that, and while I was still, doing the making bank while flipping thing, I took over the VIP service at Smoking Mills, and that was like something like 2 years ago or something like that. And at the time, that VIP service was really just guides and some investment suggestions from me. And then, like a little over a year ago, I decided to kind of step up that game and do live prices. And initially, we tried kind of like a crowd-funded IRC channel, where people would come in and say their prices like a French chat, only we would just accept any item and do it that way. But people mostly just wanted to sit in there and like leech the prices. So I decided, well, you know what? Let's just go all in and let's just use bots and just price check, right? So I whipped out the Pascal, got to work, and that's how we really got started with the live prices. We would just literally be price checking at the GE. And the funny part of all of this is we actually, at our peak, we were running about 15 different accounts on the exact same computer, same IP, all that. And we did it 24/7, right? We never logged out. And we did this for like just under a year before Jagex started banning bots. And even then, they weren't banning based on playing time. It was based on your client or your IP was flagged and they would check you. But the whole time, like between, that whole year, Jagex was talking up their bot busting game. Yeah, we're sitting there like 200 days straight logged in. Like, come on, Jagex doesn't care. And one more funny thing is whenever they implemented, Botany Bay, they detected, a bunch of people accidentally, and they detected my entire like fleet of bots, right? And we were actually, quote unquote, accidentally detected, which that's just made me laugh. It's so ironic. And so they unbanned us and gave me like, 20 Squeal of Fortune spins. It was too funny. But anyway, yeah, we ran 24/7 for a really long time. And for Jagex to make like and to track like playing time, it doesn't take any fancy bot detection software. You're just tracking playing time. But anyway, I kind of figured maybe they were seeing, like, they saw us, right, and then they probably saw that, well, we're not making any money. We're actually losing a ton of money. And maybe they thought it was like funny or something, like a failing flip bot, right? And they thought it was just comical to let us keep running. I really don't know. But yeah, so anyway, eventually we did start taking those massive bans like back to back, and we ended up having just to do away with live prices. Otherwise, we would just be running completely into the red because, Mercs really never turned much of a profit for us after like all the costs were taken into account. People would complain about the price of subscription, but like in the early days, we were doing it pretty big, where we spent more like 1 to 1.5 bill a month just price checking because we were doing those 10 per 4 hour items. And yeah, but anyway, after like the year between when we started and then whenever we started catching these massive bot bans, my wage for working on Mercs has been about $2.5 an hour, and I wouldn't be too surprised if Sam here's pulling the same wage, and then also Divine. So I assure you, for all of us, it was never really about the money, right? It was just the live prices, right? They were really cool, and nobody could do it alone. You needed the crowd of people to fund it, literally this time, with their, subscription and keep the live prices going. I mean, we could have, in theory, continued doing it, but subscription costs probably would have gone through the roof, and it just wouldn't be very efficient. So anyway, it's also just kind of a shame to me that Jagex doesn't really care, about the merchants in their game enough to kind of step up the GE. I mean, the GE to me is like one of the best bits of content that they even have left in their game, and they still don't even seem to like recognize that, right? Like, I can't think of one bit of content that people use more than the GE, and especially that has like as many dedicated users as like merchanting does, right? Like, the GE is probably their number one content. And I'm not talking about people that just kind of use the GE to maybe buy and sell like their goods and then they go skill. I mean, like, merchants. I mean, it just seems to me like asinine that they don't care about the GE. And it also just baffles me because people paid for this, right? They paid for this service. People paid me, someone that many of these people didn't even know, right? And they were just kind of like uncertain even about paying me. And they're paying me more than for subscription to RuneScape for like 100 items, right? So we're talking like 3% of all of the items in RuneScape. And then of those 100 items, it was maybe like 5% of the prices that were, probably going through max, because we PC'd all these items like maybe once every 6 minutes. So there was obviously a lot of transactions that would occur in between there. So, I mean, like, we weren't even displaying very much, right? And so it just seems crazy, right? Because Jagex could do all of the items, like, with really high granularity, and they could do it almost no cost themselves. And they could charge for it, right? And I mean, it's just like, to me, it's like, dude, Jagex, come on, step up the game. So anyway, enough on that little bit of a rant. Personally, I've been getting really busy outside of Mercs and RuneScape with another business of mine in the real life markets. And now it's looking like it's going to consume even more of my time with a potential business partnership coming up. So my time devoted to Mercs has already really been in decline. And with this partnership, I wouldn't want Mercs to suffer anymore. So some changes are definitely necessary to keep Mercs as awesome as it can be, at least. So mainly, I'm going to be putting Divine and Sam here in more control. Most people know Divine, I think, already from the videos and Rare Quark clan chat. But if you don't know Sam here, which many of you might not, he's our web developer responsible basically for the entire website of Mercs. Originally, I did all the data, like acquisition and all that, and just sent it into Mercs. But now Sam here is going to be running the prices completely himself, and along with implementing some pretty epic updates on top of that. Both Sam here and Divine have been doing some pretty crazy work in the past few weeks. So I think with this stuff, you definitely have something to look forward to with the upcoming updates. They've been doing a pretty darn good job. And if you haven't checked out the most recent Merchanting Logs update, you're definitely missing out, so go check those out. So on to the upcoming updates. Well, there's a lot of little things that we want to improve on, including an improved forum reader than what we have already. I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed that the rares have been kind of spotty. We also have a rare like in-game check, but we don't run it overnight. So we just run a forum parser overnight, and it's been kind of iffy. And so that needs a lot of updates. Same thing with like the Drygore items. I've seen that they've been going down in PC 101, all this, and I just don't have the time to like devote going into that. And so instead, we're gonna have Sam here is gonna go in there and just basically like rewrite it all himself. Because all my stuff's in Python, and Sam here is a PHP dude, so he's gonna have to do it all, in PHP. But hopefully, when all that is done, the end result will be a vastly superior forum parser, and something that's going to be more likely to be maintained. So besides the additional items, we're also going to, well, we've already been tracking the volume, but we're going to implement the volume on the top 100 traded items, like the volume data, right? Like how much of these are traded. This is actually given to us by Jagex. And this might not excite all of you, but I think when you see the charts, you might change your mind, as it's actually quite interesting to see the trend that almost every item exhibits when you compare volume to price. So for any long-term investors out there, It's actually pretty interesting stuff. Besides that, we're also going to put in the 2007 prices again. Well, they're still going to be 100% free, so not a huge change from what we had before, only hopefully a little bit better. And then we're going to have a few more updates to the merchanting logs, and then basically a whole bunch of behind the scenes updates that really are just going to help Mercs run better and more efficiently than it does right now. So anyways, that's that. I wish you all the best. Hopefully we can keep making Mercs supply some really awesome and helpful content. Also, if you happen to see Divine or Sam here around, be sure to thank them and tell them that they're doing a good job, because they are. If you guys have any questions, feel free to either leave a comment below or pop into Pound Mercs IRC, MERCHZ. Contact either me or Divine or Sam here, whatever. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to the awesome upcoming updates, and until next time, guys.